The sea was quiet that morning, but his heart wasn't. Eli tightened his grip on the fishing rod, knuckles pale under the sun. Each ripple on the water felt like it was laughing at his impatience. He had come all the way into the deep blue, chasing a single promise: that effort always brings reward. Yet hours passed, and the ocean answered with silence. He sighed, wiped the sweat from his brow, and whispered through his teeth, "Maybe I'm just not good enough." But the sea did not mock him. It waited, vast, still, patient. And somewhere within that stillness, a lesson was about to surface, one that would change how he faced not only the ocean, but his own restless soul. Welcome, my friend. Today, let us drift together across the vast Australian sea, a place where silence carries more wisdom than words. This is the story of Eli, a young fisherman chasing success on open water. He believed that patience was weakness, that progress must always be loud and fast. But the ocean had other plans. Through wind, heat, and long hours of emptiness, Eli would come to see that sometimes what doesn't happen can teach us more than what does. So, take a breath, listen to the waves, and sail with him into the lesson of quiet strength. The small town of Port Campbell woke slowly under a pale gold sky. Gulls circled above the cliffs, their cries fading into the endless hum of the Southern Ocean. Boats rocked gently in the harbor, ropes creaking like whispers between old friends. And among them stood Eli, 23, sunburned, with salt in his hair and ambition in his eyes. He loaded his fishing gear into a small motorboat, his movements sharp, hurried. Buckets clanged, hooks clattered. Impatience already echoing before he even touched the sea. He glanced at the horizon where the light broke open, a thin line of fire cutting across the water. That was where he wanted to be. Far from shore, far from anyone, alone with his challenge. When the engine started, a flock of gulls scattered. The sound was rough, almost defiant, like Eli himself. Spray hit his face as he steered into deeper water. He squinted against the wind, jaw tight, every muscle ready to prove something he couldn't name. The ocean stretched endlessly ahead, calm but vast, its surface shimmering like liquid glass. For a moment, the silence felt heavy, too heavy. He tapped his foot, switched bait, adjusted his line. Minutes passed, then an hour. Nothing, not even a nibble. Eli frowned, muttering under his breath, "Maybe I chose the wrong spot." He yanked the anchor up and moved again, and again, each time more frustrated. His hands worked faster, his breath grew shorter. All around him, the sea remained indifferent, its rhythm unbroken. In the distance, another boat drifted. An old fisherman sat there motionless, hat tipped low, his rod resting gently over the edge. He didn't move. He didn't seem to care whether the fish came or not. Eli watched for a moment, shaking his head. "How can anyone waste time like that?" he muttered. Then he turned away, gripping his rod tighter, as if determination alone could command the tides to obey. The sun climbed higher, and the air shimmered with heat. The world was quiet, except for the restless beating of one young man's heart against the infinite patience of the sea. By noon, the sea had turned to silver fire under the Australian sun. The air shimmered. Salt burned his lips. Eli's shirt clung to his back, soaked with sweat and spray. He reeled the line again, empty. He cursed under his breath, kicked the side of the boat, and the hollow sound echoed into the open horizon. His throat ached from the heat, yet anger burned hotter. Each wave that rocked the boat felt like mockery. He pulled his cap off, threw it down, and growled, "I've tried everything. What more does this ocean want?" The water, of course, said nothing, Only a distant gull answered, one short cry that vanished into the wind. Eli sat heavily on the bench, chest rising fast. He stared at the horizon, a perfect blue line dividing sky and sea, and for the first time, he wondered whether all his fighting had been against something that never meant to fight him at all. A voice drifted over the waves, soft, old, steady. "You're not battling the ocean, son," it said. "You're battling yourself." Eli jerked his head up. Far off, the same old fisherman still sat in his weathered boat, his posture relaxed, his line unmoving. The man hadn't changed a thing, and yet he looked completely at peace. Eli's grip loosened on the rod. The words hung in the air like a bell still ringing. For the first time all day, he stopped moving. He looked around. The vast horizon, the slow rise and fall of the tide, the glittering sun breaking into 1,000 moving mirrors. Everything breathed in rhythm, except him. He exhaled, long, uneven, almost trembling. The tension in his shoulders eased a little. The wind brushed his hair back, cooler now, as if the ocean itself had sighed with him. He placed the rod down gently and just listened. To the gulls, to the water, to his own heartbeat slowing down. The same silence that had once mocked him now felt sacred, alive. For the first time, Eli wasn't waiting for the sea to give him something. He was simply there, present, still, and quietly awake. The sun began to tilt west, its light turning amber on the water. Waves softened, brushing the sides of the boat like a lullaby. Eli sat quietly, elbows on his knees, fingers tracing the rough wooden edge. He didn't move. He didn't need to. For the first time since morning, his breath matched the rhythm of the sea. The frustration that had filled his chest was gone, dissolved into the wind. In its place, a strange peace settled, slow and steady, like the tide returning home. He leaned back, eyes half closed, watching a line of pelicans glide across the fading sky. The smell of salt and sunlight mixed with something gentle, the scent of calm itself. In the distance, the old fisherman still sat in silence. Eli raised a hand in quiet acknowledgement, and the old man returned the gesture, a small, wordless exchange between two souls who finally spoke the same language. The line of Eli's rod trembled slightly in the water. He glanced at it, smiled faintly, then left it untouched. It no longer mattered whether the fish came or not. This moment was full, perfectly, humbly full. He whispered to himself, "Maybe patience isn't about waiting. Maybe it's about trusting." The ocean answered only with a soft sigh of wind, a sound that seemed to agree. As the first hues of twilight colored the horizon, Eli felt lighter, as if he had shed a weight he didn't know he carried. He wasn't fighting the ocean anymore. He was learning from it, from its quiet strength, its unhurried grace. And in that stillness, something within him shifted. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud, but it was real. A quiet awakening, born not from victory, but from surrender. Weeks passed. The summer air cooled, and the waves carried a softer rhythm to shore. Eli still went out to sea, but something in his movements had changed. He no longer rushed. He no longer cursed the silence. He packed his boat with quiet care, one hand on the oar, the other brushing away the morning dew. Each motion had purpose, but no haste. He smiled more often now, not because life had become easier, but because he no longer demanded that it should be. The townspeople noticed. Children gathered at the dock to watch him prepare his lines. They called out questions, eager and curious. Eli laughed, showing them how to knot a hook, how to feel the tension in the line. But more than that, he taught them something else, something invisible. When nothing bites, he told them softly. Don't fight the water. Sit still. Listen. The sea will speak when it's ready. One of the children tilted his head. But what if it never speaks? Eli looked out at the horizon, the golden sun spilling across the blue. He smiled, calm, certain. Then maybe silence is the answer. Behind him, the same old fisherman passed by on his worn wooden boat. They exchanged a nod, a silent salute between teacher and student. The waves lapped against the dock, each one erasing the noise of yesterday. Eli cast his line again, slow and steady. He didn't look for results. He simply watched the ripples spread, circles widening into the calm, like peace returning home. Thank you for sailing through this story with me. Perhaps, like Eli, you've known the ache of waiting, the restless wish for something to finally happen. But remember this, not every silence is empty. Sometimes it's life whispering, stay still, the tide is turning. When the world feels slow, when results don't come, breathe and listen. Patience is not the absence of effort, it's the presence of trust. May you find peace even when the waters are quiet, and strength even when your hands are still. Until next time, may the waves be gentle, and may you always remember, the calm sea teaches best.